I finally decided to watch a movie that my brother kept insisting I watch. That movie being Edge of Tomorrow. I always seen parts of the movie, enjoying what I did watch from it, but for whatever reason I never sat down and watched it from start to finish. The reason why I finally sat down and watched it from beginning to end is because my brother told me it's based off of a light novel, which piqued my interest. I know, you must think I live under a rock, since for some people that's probably common knowledge. I decided to watch Edge of Tomorrow first, and then read the manga instead of the light novel, seeing what kinds of changes were made, if any. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the changes and tell you whether I think the movie or the manga is better. The basic story is the same for both the manga and the movie, but there are some glaring differences on how each does it. Earth is on the brink of collapse because of the war with alien creatures called mimics. Humanity is about to commence with a last-ditch effort invasion with huge ramifications for the future of the world. The main character Cage, or Kaiji depending upon whether you watch the movie or read the manga, kills a high-ranked mimic, which grants him the ability to time loop, restarting the day before the humans mount their assault while also maintaining his knowledge of everything that happens. The only way for him to use this ability is by dying. Through these loops, Cage learns that the mimics also possess this same ability to time loop, finally understanding why humanity can never defeat them in battle. How can you defeat an enemy that knows the future? With the help of exoskeleton suits, tons of training, and a powerful female soldier named Rita, you must stop the mimics, putting an end to these time loops, and saving humanity in the process. Now obviously, since the manga was made into a Western film, things are going to be changed to accommodate that for the target audience. The first difference obviously comes from the title. The manga and light novel is titled All You Need Is Kill. For the movie title, it is changed to Edge of Tomorrow, or the full title being Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. I personally prefer Edge of Tomorrow being the title. The next big change is the main character's name. In the manga is Kaiji Kiryu. At the end of All You Need Is Kill, you see that Edge of Tomorrow remains faithful to the source by changing his name to Cage, since it is etched onto his exoskeleton suit. The movie decides to keep the female super soldier's name as Rita, and she's played by Emily Blunt. Tom Cruise plays William Cage, the main character, which is a more Americanized name for obvious reasons, which leads to the next series of changes. The setting of All You Need Is Kill is Japan, and Kaiji is Japanese, while the movie makes Cage American and it is set in Europe. Neither versions of the main character are fighters, but the movie and manga take two different approaches to it. Kaiji signed up to fight. He's not good at fighting initially, but is willing to learn and must work his butt off training during these loops to get to where he is by the end. Cage tries his hardest to stay away from the front lines, even going to the lengths of blackmailing his superior. This leads to his arrest, being labeled as a deserter, and he's sent to the front lines anyway. He too must learn how to fight these mimics, also becoming a great soldier. As with any time looping piece of media, there are several manga panels and frames within the movie that you get used to seeing, such as Kaiji laying in his bunk after dying, or Tom Cruise about to be shot in the head by Emily Blunt so that he can loop again. With each loop, the main character becomes increasingly numb to his situation. Certain events always take place. Cage and Kaiji are numb to the same exact routine and the fragility of life since they observe countless deaths. At the same time, they begin to lose hope as to whether or not they can complete their mission or if they're stuck in an endless struggle. Rita experiences this same feeling since she too possesses the ability if you read the manga, or she possessed and lost it if you watch the movie. She stays away from people, gaining the nickname Full Metal Bitch, since she's a warrior on the battlefield and a seemingly angry loner, keeping her distance from others when not. She doesn't want to be close to others since seeing them die time and time again is so difficult, which leads to her seclusion. In this area, I think All You Need Is Kill does a better job showcasing how numb and depressed both Rita and Kaiji become. It also does a better job showcasing the two of them enjoying the time they spend together. It shows how nice it is to have somebody else with the same burden they have, since they both experience similar things. And since I'm on the topic of Rita, the manga does a better job exploring her backstory and why she fights, although it is also very brief within the manga. The manga and movie also take different approaches as to who has the ability to time loop and how to get rid of it. In the manga, both Rita and Kaiji possess the ability at the same time. In Edge of Tomorrow, Rita had the ability but loses it, realizing that it was within her blood. She realizes that death is necessary for the loop because if you survive and receive a blood transfusion, you lose the power. Cage had the ability and ended up losing it in the same exact manner. The biggest change between manga and movie is the ending and stems from whether both Cage and Rita have the ability to time loop or not. By the end of All You Need Is Kill, the mimics take the final fight to the humans. In order for these loops to end, killing a specific mimic is not enough to stop the loops. both Kaiji and Rita act as antennas for the ability to time loop. As long as one of them lives, time will continue to loop. Death is a necessary component to stop this. This means that one of Kaiji or Rita must die, resulting in them fighting each other and Kaiji coming out victorious, but heartbroken. The manga ends after their fight, but Kaiji's fight against the mimics continues with no final outcome in sight. The movie's ending is completely different from the manga's. The entirety of the movie, Cage is training and trying to figure out where the mimic heart named Omega is located. When he loses the ability to time loop, he knows the location of the heart, but has zero clue what will happen when the fighting occurs. By the end of Edge of Tomorrow, Cage assembles a group and mounts a final assault against the mimics in order to save the world, only having one last chance to do so. Cage successfully defeats the Omega and loops one final time back to a timeline where the giant assault onto the French beaches never needs to happen. The mimics are wiped out and Cage is a hero in secret. Edge of Tomorrow's general situation is completely flipped upside down, and he must rely on others, as well as his own fighting expertise, to win, since he no longer has a get out of jail free card, aka his ability. As a whole, I think the movie takes the idea from the manga and makes it better. I think only having one of Kaiji or Rita possessing the power is better. I personally like the ending better as well. You get the closure of Cage and Rita being successful in defeating the mimics. Edge of Tomorrow creates a final situation that has more impact and pressure. There's more pressure on Cage since he cannot rely on looping any longer. Not only is he fighting against the mimics, he's fighting against the humans, trying to escape and survive, since he no longer possesses the ability. He has one chance to save the world and must capitalize on that opportunity. Tom Cruise did a fantastic job as Cage. I do think the handling of the movie ending could have been done a little bit better. As a whole, I felt like it was rushed. I also like the design of the mimics within the movie more than the mangas. A small detail I would have liked within Edge of Tomorrow is the ability to know how many loops it took to win. In the manga, Kaiji writes on the back of his hand what the current loop number is, which is cool, but I could definitely see it being demoralizing when the number starts to get really big. If you're curious, Kaiji took 160 loops to stop the current one. All You Need Is Kill has a much more sad and open ending, where Rita dies and Kaiji must continue with the fight alone. Rita realizes that one of them must die in order for the loops to stop, so they fight each other, with Rita ultimately telling Kaiji to carry the torch and continue fighting for humanity with this power. I like this ending too, but the added pressure of the movie's ending is much more enjoyable. The reader understands that Kaiji is locked into a fight that will take a very long time to finish, but does he actually win? It's an ending that's not nearly as satisfying, but if the story were to continue and were to get an outcome from the war, I think All You Need Is Kill's ending could have been better than Edge of Tomorrow's ending. If you end up picking one of the movie or the manga to consume, I think the better choice is the movie, although I do think the manga is worth picking up since it has some great artwork within it. My rating for the movie Edge of Tomorrow is an 8 out of 10, while the manga All You Need Is Kill gets a 7.5 out of 10. That marks the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.